Good morning. Truth Disclosure 369. Hope everyone is doing well. I greet everyone who may come across this video in the universal words of peace. Well, it's been a couple of days since I've been on here. Decided to get on here to just go over a couple of things that I ran across that I felt was interesting to share. Since we are in a world in which there is a war on information, not only information, there's a war on perception, what people perceive to be what reality is at this present moment, and what's doing, they hard to see it, but a lot of people, still clinging to, a normality that's gone. And to be honest, in my opinion, it wasn't ever normal. It was always distorted. But as we know, we still dealing with a lot of the nonsense that's going on with the in the political arenas, with all the corruption and all the hypocrisy and all the cover-ups and the lying and all that stuff. We go from one extreme to the next, and it seems, my opinion, people don't even understand that. They just instead of acknowledging it, they just try and throw the blame off on in the political arena on the other side. So if you're a Democrat, you're throwing the blame off like they did all them years with Trump administration and with any other administration that was opposite, and then the vice versa when the Republicans in. So now you got this corruption with Biden and everything, everybody jumping on that shit like, oh yeah, it was the same shit that was going on when Trump was in the White House. What's the damn difference? Corruption is corruption. It don't matter who the fuck is representing whatever political power that assumes they have power at the moment. What difference? It's still wrong being done. No matter how much you try to shift it and point the finger, what wrong have you done that you are trying to hide and cover up? So we're dealing with that shit still. Of course, the sad stuff that's going on in Ukraine. And like I said, I take no sides. I just pray for those that are being used and in the middle of something that is more than what people are being told on either side, because the propaganda is all about agendas, it's all about interests. And in my opinion, if you think folks give a damn about what you think about the situation, regardless whether you are compassionate for what's going on over there, or you just straight up taking sides and you want murder and mayhem, you're being used. It's nothing. There's no way around that, man. I mean, it's almost like if you ain't over there, if you're not over there, boots on the ground. Oh, you got Midnight the Battle Cat stepping in on the scene. Gotta watch what's going on. But if you're not, it's almost like if you're not over there with a camera, with a phone, with any recording device on the scene, when stuff happens, you really don't know what the truth is, because it's a lot of stuff that could be real, could be true, and it's also at the same time could not be. And when you got governments that's going so far to paint a picture, but yet they won't even acknowledge the other side of, Russia news is saying something totally different. all Western media is saying something totally different. Then in between, you got those who are coming out saying, well, hold on a minute, this is that don't add up. I mean, but you know, and then we got still this pandemic, which you know, still still in play. And the sad thing about it, my thing is, once they lose traction with, this is what my opinion is. Once they lose traction with the Ukraine debacle that's going on, and once more skepticism and scrutiny starts coming up around Biden and his son and other members of the administration, including the Democratic Party, that's straight up doing some bogus stuff. You know, they're gonna have to fall back on something else to get everybody caught back up. And since we are not out of the pandemic, you know, that eventually will be breached again, where they're gonna start boosting and putting the fear out there to make everybody, you know, go at it again. And it's, you know, it's unfortunate and it's sad. And, you know, every day you want people to just snap out of this daze or this hypnosis and understand that everybody that we claim are about us and about our Constitution and all this other stuff that people want to throw up and not understand that half the stuff they're trying to debate and trying to legitimize and trying to say that it been broke. This system been broke. But this article here, Shanghai seeds in COVID lockdown posing test to Chinese leadership. And in China, there have been an uptick in which they have locked down millions of people. I think the estimate was like 26 million people. I mean, damn, locking back down. And, you know, a lot of people who don't understand what's going on in other countries because of the media perception of what's going on and how they want people to view things. You know, people, these are human beings just like people over here. Everywhere that this stuff is affected, these are human beings. These are people who have families. These are people who have children. These are people who have the same right to live just like any other person. And they are up under governments who are doing things that are not in the best interest of their population. And just like over here, we have people in these different countries who may be diehard fanatics and go in for their governmental processes and procedures. And you have those who totally do not agree. They've been calling shit out, and it's the same thing. So over here, you got the Chinese who've been locked down. I'm gonna read some of this article. The crisis in Shanghai is shaping up to be more than just a public health challenge. It is also a political test of zero tolerance approach at large, on which the Communist Party has staked its legitimacy. You know, and really a lot of the stuff that the Communist Party has staked its legitimacy on is no different than a lot of the mandates and a lot of the stuff that a lot of Western so-called democracies have been doing. So what is the difference between that and the Communist Party who's doing the same shit? There is no difference. This is the thing they want to keep people stuck and behind, thinking like, oh, your governments and your institutions are doing better than, they're doing the same exact shit. If they're not exactly doing it right now at the time, they are definitely planning it to put in process like they've done in other countries. Australia was another country. New Zealand. These are main countries that are so-called democratic places, and they're doing shit that's could be considered communist. But people still sit up here and give the okay for it to be done. and will be willing to call out communists and call out Chinese and call out North Korea and other Cuba and all this stuff, but not willing to look at the hypocrisy in their own backyard. That's the sad thing. But for much of the past 2 years, the Chinese government has stifled most domestic criticism of its zero tolerance COVID strategy through a mixture of censorship, arrest, and success at keeping caseloads low. Censorship, arrest, that's about the same thing as you over here speaking out against this disestablished administration and the different mandates that came out, and speaking out against distrusting the science when the science is proving that it is confusing and it lacks credibility when you see for yourself and experience for yourself that a lot of things don't add up that the science says. So when you speak out on it, you automatically censored. Anybody speak out against Dr. Fauci, you're censored. Anybody that say anything about the CDC is censored. But ironically, the CDC is now wanting to revamp and review their processes for what happened over the last 2 years. You know, good luck with that. But in Shanghai, which has recorded more than 70,000 cases since March 1st, this is April the 7th, that is proving more difficult. Shanghai is China's most populous metropolis. It is shimmering commercial heart. It is at home to a vibrant middle class and many of China's business, cultural, and academic elite. A large share of foreign educated Chinese live in Shanghai, and residents per capita disposable income is the highest in the country. But let's go to, I'm just too angry, too sad, said Christine Wu, a 28-year-old employee of a tech company who was visited at home by 2 police officers after she criticized the city's Communist Party leader on social media. She recorded her defiant confrontation with them, in which she asked why they were wasting time harassing her when they could be helping people in need of care. She then shared a photo of an encounter on social media, despite the officer's warnings against doing so. It was later censored. So this is no different than a lot of the shit that go on over here. You know, when you can have people get censored for speaking out on certain things, but yet you have other people who are able to say stuff and get away with it. For one, I've always used the example of Judge Sotomayor from the Supreme Court, who gave misleading information on child cases skyrocketing during the Omicron variant, and was called on it, but you didn't hear no censorship, you didn't hear no rebuttals, none of that. So, you know, for those who, this is like for those who think that all these other places, you know, China automatically gets downplayed because a lot of people believe that China is responsible for it. And China is just as responsible as those over here who are not willing to speak on the truths of this, including what's going on with Fauci has been going on. You know, this labs and these relationships between the NIH and the NIAID and U.S. funded programs, that takes all the blame off of China. It's no longer just China. It's other factors involved. You know, and for some reason that just escapes people's mentality for some reason, because they always want to point the blame somewhere else, when in actuality it's a cabal, a scheme against everybody on this planet. So people in China are just as sick, as I've said this before. People over there are tired of this shit, just like people over here, just like people in Canada, just like people in other countries. Don't matter what their religious or political standpoints may be, you know, you shouldn't bump everybody into one basket thinking that, oh, no, you got human beings all over this planet who are sick of this corruption, sick of this madness that's going on. And, they really scream for relief. But, this is just in a time where you understand that having compassion and empathy is knowing that you have other people that's suffering and going through shit similar to you. Some may be maybe a little worse. Some may be in a better off position. But the fact that it's happening is, is something that a lot of folks need to understand. And I wanted to stay on this because I wanted to go to this article. I'm back on this man that's supposedly a man, Fauci. This administration's go-to guy, and the last one, to be honest, no matter what the so-called rift was between people. But I ran across this article. Fauci warned the Trump administration of a potential epidemic way back in 2017. It's always like you run across articles or you run across information when dealing with some important matters where it was always a pre-warning, whether a year or a couple years before certain things happen, whether it was like incidents, that bombings and stuff, it always seemed to come out later on down the line. A warning was given. And it just so ironically that the warning would be given by the same person who literally was a part of these procedures at Wuhan. And we can't never get the full acknowledgement of it, or we have an acknowledgement of it, but we can't get the full coverage of it, because when you have a media and you have a system that doesn't want to even venture in, like they do in China, if you speak out and say you getting censored and all this other stuff, they haven't got that far where they're just taking people and locking them up, but they have done stuff, searching people's houses, going in, whistleblowers who said things about the different pharma companies. They had warrants to go get shit and get laptops and all this other stuff. Yet you got this thing going on with Biden, and you try and get that shit hid. And the people who feel like they're getting cool points and brownie points from speaking on it are those who just want your vote again. They ain't about trying to cease corruption, because if that was the case, they would speak on the corruption going on in their own parties. Like Republicans should be acknowledging that they've been bullshitting with the corruption the Trump administration was doing as well. How can you, but anyway, I'm getting off. So when you see everything that has been happening and all the lying and all the hypocritical shit, so when you run across shit like this right here, what comes to mind? It's like, I don't doubt it. I wouldn't be surprised. And that's sad to say that, man. A lot of people don't think folks would be that devious and dishonest to a point that they'll put everybody's well-being and health and all that stuff in danger, lives in danger. But I'm sorry to say it. I'm sorry to say it. Yes, they will do it. And so you had this back then. Fauci warned the Trump administration of a potential epidemic way back in 2017. Let's read what it says. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, warned members of the incoming Trump administration in January 2017 about the inevitability of a surprise outbreak of a new disease. And I ain't even gonna go any further because, it goes into that all this is being said so that the U.S. could prepare. And of course, that when that rift came in with the Trump administration, Trump them decided to take money from certain things. All of this is used to just bring up argument to talking points. So to a person who thinks this shit really matters to them, they will argue that if it hadn't been for Trump taking money away from certain shit, it wouldn't have been like this. Well, you know, that may be the case, but then again, that don't take away the legitimate gripe that maybe if this motherfucking person who using taxpayers' money with the behest of the United States government, using taxpayers' money for experiments and tests in Wuhan, and ain't no telling what was being done in Ukraine at those biolabs, but we'll stay in Wuhan for now. If it hadn't been for that shit in the first place, you wouldn't have none of this stuff. And people forget that. They don't even look into that. But you know, more and more signs, tall tale signs are coming up and showing themselves for what it really needs to, for what really has been going on. And it's heart-wrenching and it's fucking sad. And to a point where a lot of things have transpired over these facts that had been justified and legitimized over inconsistent information, untruthful information, straight out distortion, and then information comes out to shape your life based on that shit. And to a point where, like I said, pharma has been racking it in. They've been getting it in, man. To a point where they would do shit to a point that didn't make no fucking sense. But a lot of people don't look at this shit like that. This article from the Denver Gazette, this is from January, Judge, when they wanted to, the FDA had set a timeline. And this is one of the timelines that had, Judge scrapped 75-year FDA timeline to release Pfizer vaccine safety data, giving agency 8 months. Like, what the fuck would a agency that's putting out medication and vaccines and all this other stuff, and when you come to safety protocols or want to know the safety information or data pertaining to this product, why in the hell would they even give you a timeline that's way past matter of fact, the timeline is past the lifespan of many who are, you know, getting these shots and told that they need to get them. I mean, I look at that, but it totally makes no sense regardless who gets it. Why would you have a 75-year timeline to release safety data on a vaccine? And so this judge scrapped it and gave them 8 months. So let's look here. The Food and Drug Administration won't have 75 years to release thousands. And this is shit that this administration was okay with. You know, an administration where a lot of these people don't realize that a lot of these lying fake leaders, they were part of different institutions before they came into the administration, before they sat on the cabinet. And this has been in every administration. You cannot name not one motherfucker that haven't been on a board of directors for pharmaceutical companies, banks, other corporate enterprises. And then we wonder why shit gets because they're doing shit to protect their own interests, and they're using these fake ass rulers and leaders and so-called politicians as means to keep their agendas going. And you know, as they do that, they get paid, they get broke off a little nice handsome sum for while everybody else get rammed. And you know, it's sad when you see people not seeing it like that, but you know, hopefully as time goes, more people will see it for what it is. The Food and Drug Administration won't have 75 years to release thousands of pages of documents it relied on to license its COVID-19 vaccine. Instead, the federal agency will have just over 8 months to do so per a federal judge ruling. Now, this is a ruling that a federal judge gave, and this is more than what the Supreme Court could have had done. The timeline ordered Thursday by U.S. District Judge Mark Pittman radically shortens the timeline under which the FDA has to produce troves of documents. So they have to turn over, what is it, 55,000 pages a month? It's 450,000 pages of material. This could provide information on why you have so many problems with the Pfizer vaccine. And some people may not have issues, some do. Just because you don't have issues, that don't negate those that do have issues. And it may be stemming from the vaccine. And so that's information that everybody needs to know. But when you deny that shit, you're denied the full information to make a proper informed decision. And that's what's been going on. So let me look at this one. Let's see, FDA's court-mandated release of Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine documents continues to turn over a few surprises. And, this is the Pfizer CEO. He wants everybody to continue to get boosters, continue to do this, continue to do that. And they have scrutiny around some of their stuff dealing with blood clots, dealing with other health issues that has impacted people. And all the other ones have issues as well. But, they won't speak on that. It's a crying shame, but that's the world, unfortunately, we live in. See, so that was another article. So, one has to really be on a really informative tip right now. If it never been a time in history that a person should be aware and paying attention to what's going on around them, this is the time. And it's sad that so many don't even realize it. They think a lot of people think it's just something, because a lot of people don't, like I said, don't understand that they could not imagine people doing, or their governments or people who are in so-called their leaders could be responsible or could be shady enough to do some of the shit that you're doing. Like, these people ain't human beings. They ain't no different than a person that just walked into a place and defrauded a store owner, or dining dash, or a person that just robbed somebody. The only difference is these people have labels, titles, and they have the inner workings of whether city, state, or federal government at hand to do a lot of their dirty schemes. And people have to understand that. So what we see here, going to, here it is. So we're back on second COVID booster shot extends protection for just a few weeks. And this is Pfizer. But the thing is, like, why would you continue to take something if the protection only lasts for a certain, that they claim doesn't last for it's almost like you just cool with just putting all this foreign shit in your body and don't really know what it is. With their, because first of all, they're not giving you the information of what it is to a point where they have to, a court has to tell people, no, we're not waiting on 75 years. Start putting documents out now. And yet they still at the same time barrage people with getting boosters and getting this and getting that, man. It's like, damn, when will people's red alert flags start going off? I mean, the writings had always been on the wall. It's just unfortunate it's taking so long for people to become aware of it. Me, I'm sick of people dying. I'm sick of people getting sick. I'm sick of people falling for a lot of this shit. And I've lost people and it hurts every day. But like I said, I look at it as, you know, I don't see this as being a sickness to me. I see it just straight out flat murder. And, you know, people can agree, people can disagree. But hey, to each their own. A lot of people were murdered. A lot of people are being murdered slowly as I speak. A lot of people have compromised their bodies by foolishly going along with hypocrites, liars. And at first it probably was like, damn, we got to do this. But as time went on and all of the confusion and all of the misdirection and this and that should have been it right there to been enough for people to be like, come on, man, hell no. And then when you throw in the economy and everything else and then shot the hell with it, you see what all this shit was about? Or you start getting an impression of what the possibilities of what this could be about and why it's been so hard straught to fight against those who speak out against shit to a point where straight out tyranny in some places. And even up in Canada, they still going through shit that branches back to the pandemic and the policies that came out. To the point you're willing to take people's property, take people's freedom, take this, take that, because you don't want to hear what they got to say when they are speaking on it. Like, everybody got to do as I say. If you don't, that's not right. There ain't nothing about that right. So, you know, they're trying to say that it's coming, you know, the stuff is trying to build back up in some states, a spike. But people gotta be honest, man, with themselves. People are so stuck on fear and you know that the manipulations of that is constant. There's consequences behind that when people don't truly fight for information to make proper decisions, and that will affect them, their loved ones. You know, it also affects those trying to implement these decisions because it makes them more wealthier. Because everything that a person agrees with, you can bet there's people getting paid off of that stuff. This is another video I want to go to. I just want to show the dumb hypocrisy about shit that I don't get, but of course it's from CNN. But let me get to it. The press secretary for Joe Biden, Jen Psaki, who's lied numerous times throughout. And you know what? People honestly will bash her and act like ain't no other press secretary been lying over the past 10 years. Every press secretary Trump had was lying, from Spicer to Huckabee to what's the lady name? Got the little blonde lady that's on Fox now that was the lies all the time. So for people to jump on this bandwagon calling this liar out, make sure you call the ones out there with doing all the lying up under your guys' administration and all the deceitful and deceptive shit. All you seeing is just hypocrisy. So you got here NBC News journalist vexed by MSNBC's move to hire White House press secretary Jen Psaki, because the word is she's planning on moving on from being the press secretary to a cozy job at NBC. Like MSNBC and NBC ain't already full of hypocrites and liars and those who do not work for the benefit of people and giving them the proper information, but those that only go by an agenda and put out information that the establishment want people to know. You're only entitled to what they want people to know. So you get the same fucking stories all the time. Anything else outside of that is a story of attack to make people believe that they're wrong for looking at a certain thing a certain way. So these hypocrites are vexed because these liars are vexed because another liar, a main liar who is in the White House is coming to work. Get the fuck out of here, man. You know, they that doesn't even make any fucking sense, man. They put shit out here, they'll be on cool and fair once you get in there and do the same fucking shit. And then have another person sitting up lying and talking all that dumb shit. Can't answer certain questions that's real questions and just want a simple answer, but you won't get it. So it's the same shit. But that's how hypocritical and just flat out silly to even put some stuff out this house. NBC ain't got no credibility, just like none of these mainstream media outlets. Like hiring one liar gonna affect all the liars you already got. Fuck out of here. I had to share that. So you know, it's still a lot, you know, I'm not even gonna touch the Ukraine thing because there's a lot of misinformation on both sides. So, you know, like I said, I just just pray and meditate on those over there who are going through a lot of suffering, people who are who are losing everything, who are being displaced, who are feeling the bite of corrupt peoples all around them. It's sad, it's unfortunate. But like I said, I can't take any side. No side, because you don't know, we don't have enough information to know enough about what's really going on. There's too much it's too much. And like I've said, I've never understood. I mean, these folks been lying 2 years through a pandemic. They've been off and on lying, being dishonest about things, being untruthful, being hypocritical, being aggressive with it. And you're supposed to accept these same individuals, these same people, even when it comes into an urgent state of urgency when dealing with a conflict or a war. That just can't. That doesn't work for me. It may work for other people, but I can't. If I don't trust motherfuckers for other shit, ain't no fucking way in hell I'm gonna trust him. I don't give a fuck if it's talking about war or anything. It's something else to it. It's automatic. It's automatic. This is a funny it was funny because it kind of reminded me of karma. There was a story that ran yesterday. Some Democrats ran into an aggressive fox. A mother red fox captured Tuesday on the grounds of the U.S. Capitol has been euthanized and has tested positive for rabies, said D.C. Department of Health officials. The department said Wednesday in an email that there were 9 confirmed bites. Like, damn. how it's almost like, how the hell did that fox bite 9 different? The department said Wednesday in an email that there were 9 confirmed bites by the fox over the past few days and that it had been humanely euthanized so rabies testing could be done. Health officials said they were contacting all human victims who were bitten by the fox. And let me see. So you had people getting bit, and that you had some this one doesn't have the name of but there was a California representative who was bitten. But how does a fox bite 9 people? I mean, damn, either you trying to get up close to her or whatever, while she's protecting her kids or babies. I don't know. It's just something about this story that doesn't seem right about it. But a fox bit several people around the Capitol, including sitting federal politicians. I think it was California representative and another person, I'm not sure. But it's just ironic how they did this. Maybe that fox sent something that wasn't right with these people, man, and just went in. I don't know. It's unfortunate that fox had to be put down behind it. But it's just awkward that I just can't understand how a fox will bite 9 people, and they said it's a week's time. Let me see, where was that at? Yeah, over the past few days. So it's almost like now they're trying to say this fox is just running into folks. And if a person, and I just look at it like this: if people knew it was a fox biting people, why wouldn't the animal control, and especially if this is the Capitol, why wouldn't animal control and all that stuff been called out and all that? I don't know. It's just something ain't right about this. It almost like so these people that got rabies from this fox, like, just setting the stage for something else. Maybe they're trying to blow something else up, especially when you got Center for Disease Control put to it. And we know what the CDC has been about. But I don't know, just wanted to share that one. And I'm gonna go to this last joint here. And I'm gonna get up off of here. Just wanted to get on here and share a couple of thoughts for the day. But like I said, it's just constantly getting more and more pivotal that people pay attention to what the hell going on around them. The sun has been active, still shooting out flares. They're even talking about the possibility that it could get the possibility for something that happened years ago, back in the 1800s, called the Carrington event, where it solar flare knocked out communications at that time. And being that we're in the time that we're in now, you know, not only you have different types of communication, you have internet, you have all the other stuff. So they're saying that that could possibly be a threat. I'm trying to get to this one joint that I'm looking for. Let's see. Okay. And you know, one of the other things that is kind of kept quiet, or they've been slowly they was bringing up awareness to it for a minute, and then they got quiet for a minute because all of the pandemic and all of the stuff that's been going on while this pandemic has been taking center stage. Hell, the Will Smith slap taking center stage. You know, when before you get into so we're dealing with UFOs now. And this government, which you know, you have to bring this up because this is a Newsweek article. There's plenty more articles. The Pentagon released over 1,500 pages of previously classified documents related to its unidentified flying objects UFO program this week. This article was yesterday. In 2017, the British tabloid newspaper The Sun requested information through a Freedom of Information Act FOIA to the U.S. Advanced Aviation Threat. This is the same Freedom of Information Act request that paved the way for that judge to tell Pfizer, no, we're not waiting those 75 years for you to put that information out. We don't. No, this is the same utility that was used. The AATIP, which is Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, which is the US program, which a lot of people never heard of, but tax money was going to it. So how could tax money go to something that you don't even have information on? More information that people don't refuse to try and accept. Don't matter what party you're in, why you don't know about it. Why you don't know about the inner workings of everything that you're being charged and taxed. On Tuesday, following the release of 1,574 pages of documents by AATIP, in response to requests, UFO expert Nick Pope spoke to News Nation's Leland Vittert about what we know about the UFO phenomenon in U.S. I'm not gonna go to the video, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to some of the things that were mentioned in this report. And it may not be in this article, it may have to be in another one, in which I will go to another article mentioning. But we know that these things have been leaking out into the mainstream media. So we're gonna go here. Pentagon, okay, so and we have this, but there was some but I mean this and all these, this is stuff that just been talked about over the last week, but this doesn't have what I'm looking for. Let me find what I'm looking for real quick. Okay, here we go. Go to live science. Trust the science. Damn, I went off the, okay. Trust the science. UFOs left radiation burns and unaccounted for pregnancies. New Pentagon report claims. So this is a report from the same institution that deals with threats to the country and, you know, global threats. 1,500 pages UFO related research was just declassified as part of a FOIA request. So let me go to the part where it's talking about one standout document from the collection is a report titled Anomalous Acute and Subacute Field Effects on Human Biological Tissues, dated March 2010. The report describes alleged injuries to humans observers by anomalous advanced aerospace systems, some of which may be a threat to United States interests, according to the document. The report describes 42 cases from medical files and 300 unpublished cases where humans sustained injuries after alleged encounters with anomalous vehicles, which includes UFOs. In some cases, humans show burn injuries or other conditions related to electromagnetic radiation. Now, this is a lot of the same stuff that is sent out into the cosmos when there is a solar eruption. That's basically what's coming off the sun is magnetic energy, which they only gonna tell you so much even about that, or other conditions related to electromagnetic radiation. The report said some of them appearing to have been inflicted by energy-related propulsion systems. The report also noted cases of brain damage, nerve damage, heart palpitations, and headaches related to anomalous vehicle encounters. That, wow, all this in the report coming from the Pentagon. Sad thing about it, you get a few people, you get those who always been in shit like this, which I've always been in. You get people who have that feeling, acute feeling that, damn, some people want this shit to be true. And you ain't gotta want too much, because a lot of this stuff is what it is. These folks just been lying about a lot of stuff. But you would get very few people that's probably paying attention to stuff like this. You know, why, you know, the first question should be asked, why would the Pentagon release a report like this that's showing stuff? So that means that if that's the possibility that this stuff happens, and that means that if people are getting sick or people are being harmed from some of these activities, then why isn't that being talked about? Of course, the narrative will be controlled because, you know, that goes into a different aspect of looking at things. But yeah, this is stuff that is literally going on, and the information is not being shared. Only now with all this shit going on in the world, and with people questioning more and backing people who really are into trying to look into these questions and get back to the people what their findings are, not going according to no agendas. This is what's been going on. And now a lot of that stuff is flowing out. You know, they would want people to be stuck on the fact that, you know, the pandemic is not over, that Ukraine is suffering from genocide, that Hunter Biden's laptop and all this shit. And you know, they want you to just keep thinking on that and Trump and January 6th, but these ain't the only things that's been happening. You know, everything is fucked up right now. And I just want to, before I get out of here, I'm just going to share this. It hurts to know, to have the intuitive feeling when you know something ain't right, and you know it's affecting everybody around you, whether they understand it or they don't. It hurts to know that people you love, people you care for, people that you just want the best for, even those that may not particularly feel the same way about you. I've always felt like, you know, my anger issues and everything in the past have always been, and even in the present when I do get it, has always been because of frustration and you know, the fact that a lot of times we want shit to happen the way we want it right then and there, and when we don't get what we want, like big spoiled bratty kids, we just lash out. And the unfortunate thing about that, not only does that experience happen individually, as a collective body, it happens. Whatever community you're from, as a community, it happens in that collective, to a nation's collective, to a global collective. And you know, the minority are those who look past all that shit, who try to control that and look for a binding tie that would bind everybody together in unity and harmony in so many different levels, that will provide a different way of living for the whole planet. Something that has been void since I've been living. You know, over the past 20 years, there's been so much shit happening. You know, as a child, as a kid coming up, you know, you seen shit, you heard shit. You know, there was stuff that you couldn't do nothing about. You was living up under your parents, and your parents was dealing with it, and this and the third. But, you know, I always want the best for everybody. You know, people got to understand that when you sit up and you wish harm and you wish bad on other people because you don't agree with them philosophy wise, religious wise, rational wise, however, whatever the reason may be, and you just wish negative and harm, and you know, anytime you can say bomb these people, and but yet the reasons for bombing them, for why a person may want them to be bombed, is only being fed by information that is distorted, then you're just, you know, people don't understand, you're just you're more part of a problem than you are part of the solution. People have to understand that in order for a lot of this shit to open up the way it should, so that people can see it for what it is, man, people have to trust one another and understand that we ain't the enemy. All of us are not the enemy of one another. We are allowing a lot of this shit to happen. We vote for these people. We put all our fucking eggs in baskets that end up getting tipped over and half of them cracking and breaking open. We sit up here and we co-sign with institutions and with organizations on the pretext of because of, you know, what color, or because of the messaging or whatever, without proper you know, in a historical context. A lot of people don't really look into a lot of these organizations and look into historical value of these organizations, why they came about, who financed them, who invested in these organizations and everything else. And a lot of these organizations still around today, still being used. We sit up and we okay the behaviors and stuff that happens in our governments. We okay this stuff. And then we sit back, and then the only thing we could say that we could do is we got to vote them out the next time. Everybody, when people have been doing this shit for how long, and we get motherfuckers that come in and they may do a little something, may give some crumbs to people, and then people think they done did a whole fucking quality job, while there's a whole lot of other shit going on, you know, not only in the country, but globally that that's being stirred up or agendas being met. And nobody wants to, okay, nobody wants to be told they're wrong, or nobody wants to, I know, I'm telling you, work in progress come from that. Nobody wanted to be told that they were wrong in their perception of things. But yes, we are the ones doing it. We are allowing these people to sit up in line in front of our faces. We are the people who are sitting up voting people in because of color, because of political leanings, because of distaste for the person who left office or whatever, and not because of a person's experience, not because of a person's track record, not because of a person's ability to show genuine concern and care for human beings, not for one group of people over another group, but for human beings, period. We do that shit. We all do it. We sit up and we complain about what's going on, but when it's time to vote, we sit up and listen to these same liars and hypocrites tell us how to vote, that we need to do this and we need to do that, send people out knocking on your doors to promote people who are liars, hypocrites, some pedophiles, you know what I mean? All type of crazy shit. Motherfuckers robbing people blind, do shit that they have set up because of their positions and their titles, and they sit up here and treat you like shit. Just look, Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, all the bullshit they do. Yet people, Maxine Waters, Auntie Max Waters, you know, you got some black folks who think that she's the tip of the iceberg just because she's a black woman who may have overcome obstacles of being a black congresswoman. That don't mean shit if you're a liar and if you're a hypocrite and if you're doing shit that's not benefiting people, period. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. When they show her showing out against them homeless people who are just trying to find out what the fuck going on, we trying to get some information about housing in a state that so many people are homeless. You know, it's sad. I'm like, damn, I didn't even know that. All those tent cities and all those people sleeping out on Venice Beach and all this shit, like, damn, in a state where you got all this shit going on, you got Hollywood, you got all the money that you could think of. Hell, you had the tech companies were there. I think they moved out San Francisco and moved somewhere else. But a rich state that has a lot going on, and you got this much of suffering and poverty and homelessness, and yet this person here who people look upon, you know, this person, Maxine Waters, would probably be one of the same person that sit on a board at NAACP, and people would sit here and okay that shit. People sit up and talk about Pelosi doing what she needed to do, and she's involved in shit that continues to extort wealth away from people that really need it. Nothing being said. Man, you sit up and vote for this shit, and you sit up and condemn people who call out shit. We the ones who do this shit. We the ones who sit up and will let people like Matt Gaetz, Republican representative come out and say and talk about moral responsibility and codes and shit, and he's presently involved in a underage child case. We do this shit. We do it. We sit up here and we cut these motherfucking media channels on. We know damn well something ain't right about the coverage they're doing, because it seems like all the fucking time they're showing just one side of a story. They never want to show another side. They just want to keep people on it. And we continue to feed into it. We keep doing it. We do it. We do it. So it comes down to a point where the acknowledgement of that we are the ones dragging this shit out, because we're giving these folks the power that they need, and we're doing it because of how we've been taught, how we've been indoctrinated and shit. And if you're a God-fearing person, then it shouldn't even matter about all the system and all that shit. I don't care. You know, speaking out on what's right, man, and truth of that everybody needs to know, everybody needs to have the same information so that everybody can make informed decisions. That's always been a topic that so-called conspiracy theorists and everybody they want to call fringe and stuff. What is wrong with wanting to know the truth or wanting to have all possible information on things so that you can make the proper, you can make now for sure, you can make certain decisions and be comfortable with making it without feeling like you're being forced into a corner to make certain shit off of certain information that's given to you, when there could be a whole other side of information out there that you're being purposely kept from, that could alleviate a lot of the issues that nations, planet is going through. So, you know, I mean, it's all out here. We do it. The issues with the IRS and how the IRS, you know, you barely hear it. I see, I run across articles and notifications on Reddit about people who still waiting on their tax returns from last year and the year before, you know, shouting out hoorays and stuff when they finally get their tax return, when they filed it back in January and they just got it. You got people who still waiting for tax returns from 2 or 3 years ago. But you're not hearing, it's not like it's a big deal. Like I said, I'm waiting on tax returns. What do you think goes on in the mind of people who are committed to doing what they think is right and following the protocols that were taught and told, but yet they don't get that same treatment in return when it comes to institutions honoring whatever responsibility they have, and at least showing some accountability for times when they're messing up, and at least try to compensate for that. You won't get it. Like I said, you have the IRS institution out here backlogged. You know, like people like everybody's at fault for what's happened. That's not our fault. That's nobody's fault for what has happened that can be pinned on the pandemic, or, you know, Putin, or however they want to try and say it. You know, that's not our fault. You know, the fact that you have people who are being held up on doing stuff, like I have an estate case that cannot be closed out. Why? Because I'm still waiting on a estate tax for my deceased parents. And I'm pretty sure other people, there are somebody else around who are dealing with similar circumstances. So how do you think people feel who feel like they do what they're supposed to do, and yet it seems like there's nothing happening of any consequence when it comes to the IRS? The IRS would charge interest, would charge you late fees for not filing, all type of stuff. They will send letters here and there I'm talking about the real. I ain't talking about no phonies and shit and all that. But I'm talking about the real. They would send you letters telling you, oh yeah, you had this tax debt, and you know, and you might start getting calls or fucking notifications from tax preparing companies and all this shit. Do you owe the IRS? We can get your some deducted for this and all that shit. But here it is, you have an institution that will do all that shit. But here it is, they owe people. They owe people. They have a backlog and getting people's stuff out. People still waiting on refunds. I'm waiting I'm waiting on refunds from 2019, 2020, as well as 2021. All legit filings, all legit tax you know, all legit. How does that happen? And then you're supposed to have respect, and you're supposed to have a sort of commitment to continue to participate in shit that shows you no respect at all. No, it doesn't work like that. And this is what people had to understand, man. People had to have some type of self-respect for themselves, man. To at least not allow people who claim they with this, they these leaders and all this shit. You gotta have self-respect, man. Fuck that. I don't give a damn in black community, white community, whomever. There's a lot of people in the black community I have no respect for. There's a lot of people in the white community I don't have no respect for. There's a lot of people in the Asian community I don't have no respect for. There's a lot of people, so I keep going. It ain't just one group. I don't have respect for any person who continue to want to affiliate themselves or press or push things upon people who don't want to respect other people's dignity and their own sovereignty. I have no respect. Anytime people try and push their own point of views and all this shit on people, you know, or try and make people do certain stuff, you know, and eventually the way shit going, motherfucker ain't gonna be able to do nothing unless they have some type of they present some type of document or some type of sign or symbol or whatever, however it will go. The way things going, in order to be able to participate in what you would call society. And me personally, I don't give a fuck about that shit. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, and I have no respect for the shit that they're doing. And I see how I used to look at things, and you know, I see how far I've come, and I just see that and understand that we are the ones, we human beings are the ones who are doing this shit. Black, white, it don't even fucking matter. In the black community, we are allowing shit to happen. We are allowing the same old narrative to continue to permeate in our communities. We can't never get shit done. Our communities continue to fall apart at the seams because we continue to look past the fact that we are the ones constantly manifesting this shit. We constantly having people that we look up to as leaders and speaking to us, and they're not producing shit, and yet we still act like it's, you know, it's all good. We still want to deny what the wrongdoings and the hypocrisy in our own shit, as well as white people and who don't want to condemn and don't want to call out the hypocrisy amongst their own. You know, it all boils down to this same fucking shit. We are doing this shit to ourselves. And you have people who enrich themselves off of that. And that's all I got to say on that. We have to do better when it comes to thinking outside of the box. We have to think outside the box. And with that, I'd like to just greet everyone as I came. The universal greeting word is peace. If there was anything I said, it's all in love. Share, support, but like I've said before, doesn't even matter. I just do what I do to try and put it out there. I'm not looking for nothing. Just hopefully something can be said. If it ain't number one word or one sentence or one statement that may cause somebody to look into something for themselves or ask some questions or whatever. But if it's anything, anybody got any comments or whatever, it's here. I'm open to dialogue, but it's all respect. All respect. Some things, you resonate with, some things you don't. But it don't stop dialogue. It don't stop working a means to try and work together, because this is what just needing to happen when it's all said and done. Black folks and white folks gonna have to get together. Asians and Mexicans gonna have to get together. Natives or Aboriginals and Europeans and all this other stuff. Everybody's gonna have to get together. Europeans and Americans and South Americans and Australians and Russians and Ukrainians and all these people. Everybody gonna have to get together. Everybody gonna have to understand that in their societies, the best thing to get through this shit is to try and have some type of compassion, show some type of love, unconditional love, and negate the negativity that keeps coming out, that people are enriching themselves off of, systems are enriching themselves off of at the behest of people, lives and livelihood. So with that, I greet you as I came. Peace.